does the future of our culture look like in a world controlled by technology? And I mean that by not just by the current situation, but in terms of how what we've been talking about, there's so much more online content now, and there's a lot of artists and a lot of beatboxers and a lot of performers who not necessarily perform live, but are absolutely killing it online. And then vice versa, there's a lot of artists who are killing it live, but maybe not so much online. So how does a world which is completely controlled by technology and in such a big part of our daily lives now, like I wouldn't be living this quarantine now if I didn't have some sort of technology. I would be going crazy. I'm sure we all would. So yeah, it's an interesting. So yeah, what does the future of our culture look like in a world kind of controlled by technology? I'm going to go to D-Nice first for this.
Sure. I mean, well, I think our world already is controlled by technology, to be honest.
Yeah.
Definitely getting there. Um, I think right now with quarantine, a lot of people like in other what's the word? Jobs. They're realizing now that they can do their job from home, and they're
Mm,
like, okay, now why after quarantine? Why would I want to go back to the office?
yeah.
Where I think with beatboxing and our culture, we're still always gonna want to have our in-person competitions and still
Yep.
have that like community. I don't think we're gonna like switch to online competitions forever. I think we're gonna go back to going to GBB like the second we can.
Yep.
But I think what we were talking about earlier is I think as like loop stations get more and more advanced, and other there's more and more social media platforms like TikTok, even crazier ones in the coming years. I think we'll be able to do more with beatboxing and combining beatboxing with technology in that sense.
Yep.
Um, like I have the RC505, and there's so much I can do with my beatboxing. It's nuts. And looking back on like the old versions of the loop stations, like it's just developed so much over time. So I just can't even imagine what will come from it. And also, if I assume a lot of people watching right now have been following Reaps One's journey, and
Mm,
he's been doing all of that amazing stuff. Uh, you know, with technology. So
yeah.
I think hopefully more beatboxers will start doing stuff not only within the beatbox community but outside, like Reaps One, and
Yeah.
trying to apply beatboxing to technology in that sense.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. Yeah, I think you brought up some really interesting points. And yeah, talking about Reaps is super interesting because of how he's really dived into both worlds and is going fully into like all the technology and the AI, but really keeping the Reaps One style and his own vision with it. And I think, yeah, those kind of projects can only grow. Um, Shazam, I'd like to ask you about obviously with GBB having to be postponed due to the current situation. So I think you might have a good input on this in terms of having to put an event online and you for an additional event, which I think is an amazing thing for you to do. So yeah, what's your vision on how beatboxing can kind of keep going in the future with a lot of technology happening?
I mean, I think actually in the future, beatbox will go more away from technology again,
Mm,
because like I mean in like music history it was always like the thing that's like the total opposite to what's trendy now will be successful. Like the next, like when rock is coming out, it was like the opposite of everything people like before.
yeah,
And
right.
at the moment, like beatboxing is growing heavily, and I also think like it will continue growing. And it's at the moment like the music industry is owned by artificial instruments and artificial like autotune,
Yep.
whatever. Like I also like it, but like it's like the opposite of what we do. We create sounds super raw,
Mm,
and I think like it will go in that direction, like rock music. Like it will
yeah.
get super popular, and yeah, people like when everything is technology and everything is owned by computers. I think people want to go back to having the raw feeling and
Yeah.
the raw sensation.
Yeah, for sure. I think I totally agree with that. I can see that can see that happening. Suddenly, someone's going to have 70 loop stations. You're like, too much, bro, too much. But yeah, I think that's a good point. And yeah, Gene. So like, from your point of view, because you said before that your life is on stage, and I think a lot of us can hold that sentiment very close at this moment in time. So yeah, for you, how do you feel about a world kind of more controlled with technology? Do you feel like you could fully adapt to going online? Is it possible, or would you definitely still need that release of performing live? I think I know the answer, but I want to ask you.
I think, yeah, it's probably close to impossible to recreate that live feel online. But as technology progresses, I think we'll be at the point where, everyone will own VR goggles, and we'll go to like a digital event, where all the avatars can interact with each other, and billions of people in attendance in one virtual space together.
My biggest show today, 8 billion people.
8 billion.
They were all the
people.
same person, but they were there.
Gene, we talked about this, right?
Yeah, we did talk about it. I mean, I don't know if that's where this whole community's going, but I mean, we're already doing this. Like, this is
I think it's
pretty
like
futuristic already.
every day I'm waking up and thinking how amazing that the beatbox community is just adapted to online. It's pretty incredible. Like within a few days, there was like a battle online, and there was stuff going online already. Don't get me wrong. There's some amazing communities out there on Discord with Delo's BBXR stuff and the beatbox community. All these amazing projects. But the way that Look Up went online, GBB did an online thing, and there's all these other things. I think it's amazing how we instantly adapt and do these kind of things. So there's possibilities to it, but I think we still need the contact of being together.
We actually should keep this form, this kind of events online even after the COVID-19.
I agree, man, and I think that's really important to say, is that a lot of these things should still be alive, still be relevant. Like all these battles should still be supported, because I think when life is normal, it's quite easy to be like, oh, bro, I can't come on between 6 and 8 tonight because I've got to wash my hair because I'm going out later or something. But now it's like you don't really have an excuse, in a sense. So
of course,
say to support these, because there's some amazing things that are happening, and there's some amazing events that are happening online, and like the stuff that Roxaloops was doing with his like multi-camera audience. Like even though we went together, we're cracking joke, Kenny's there shouting, other BBKs like staring into the camera. You feel like you're together. So
that was very fun.
It was a lot of fun, man, and I think you can find ways to adapt, but I'm not sure if there's a way that we could completely replace it, but I'm glad we have this to still be together.
We don't really want to think about how we're gonna replace it. It's gonna come back.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It's gonna come back.
It's gonna come back, and we're all here. We're all creating, and it's gonna be fun to be able to create one more time. Yeah, wicked. So thank you.